What's up, people? Welcome to Chris Chats Comics. My name is Chris Gonzalez, and I'm back again for another episode of Trade Talk Tuesdays. And this is a series where I drop every Tuesday, and I discuss and recap either one or a couple collected editions. Usually they're trade paperbacks, but they can be hardcovers or, original graphic novels, whatever. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a trade. But this week I'm going to be going over from Marvel Comics Silver Surfer Black, and this is the first time I'm reading this, and it's written by Donny Cates, and Tradd Moore did the artwork, and he also contributed to the story. Dave Stewart is the colorist, and Clayton Cowles is the letterer, and the series came out in 2019, and I'm going to be reading the excerpt on the back of the book like I always do. So, is this the end of Norrin Radd? So, in the Guardians of the Galaxy, the cosmos' greatest defenders were thrown through a black hole, including the Silver Surfer. But his story doesn't end there. To beat back Oblivion and avoid losing himself to the darkness, the Sentinel of the Spaceways must call on all of his inner light to save his own soul. With his power cosmic fading and the all-consuming darkness descending, will help come in the form of an unexpected ally. When the Surfer discovers something with the potential power to turn the tide, is he prepared to pay the terrible price for awakening it? And how does the Surfer's predicament tie into the sinister world of the symbiotes? Donny Cates and Tradd Moore take the Silver Surfer on a journey that will change him forever. And again, this is collecting Silver Surfer Black issues 1 through 5. And again, this was my first time reading this story. I've heard nothing but praise and great things from critics and fans alike. And after reading it, I have to agree with those sentiments. This story is phenomenal, and I think this is the first story I ever read that's written by Donny Cates. So I was very impressed by what I read in his work. And it got me interested in reading more of his stuff. Let's go ahead and get into issue. Again, it's only 5 issues, so it's a pretty short series, and we'll get into it. First of all, the artwork by Tradd Moore is just really psychedelic, and it's just elevated with Dave Stewart's colors, so I really appreciated that. So in the beginning of the first issue, Norrin Radd, aka the Silver Surfer, he just reflects on his time as being the Herald of Galactus, and he's full of guilt and regret because since he was the Herald, he did nothing to prevent these planets from being devoured and destroyed by Galactus. So he feels that guilt. He still hears the screams of all the beings and the species that were screaming out for help, and he remembers it all. So that's how it begins. He's reflecting on that, and then it jumps forward into the present, where he is a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and in this version of the team, who's in this team? Cosmic Ghost Rider's a part of the team, it looks like. I think this is Storm, and again, I haven't read if Donny Cates did a Guardians of the Galaxy series. I never read that, so I apologize for my ignorance in that, but Beta Ray Bill is a part of the team, and so essentially they get trapped and they get sucked through a black hole wormhole, and Silver Surfer, he helps his teammates, and he uses like the Cosmic Ghost Rider's chain to whip them around, and so they go through this black hole, and he's transported. He goes back in time essentially, and he gets transported to this random planet, and this is him again. He goes through the wormhole, and he's just drifting through the cosmos. He doesn't know where he's at. He's in darkness, and just again, the artwork very psychedelic, and the colors just really great. And so he stumbles onto this planet, and he appears outside of this gate, and there are three beings in front of the gate. He addresses them and he tells them that he means them no harm, and they're speaking a alien language, and he translates, and it translates to our master is God, and those three beings start to attack Silver Surfer, and he doesn't want to fight them, but he has to resort into defending himself. So eventually he uses, again, the art, look at the artwork, just brilliant, very captivating, very engaging and enthralling. Just the panel layouts and the compositions, just brilliant. And again, just this artwork might not be for everybody, but I was just captivated throughout reading this. And so he uses his power cosmic to produce essentially a star, and with this star he dispels all the dark energy that was, engulfing this planet. And this is what the planet looks like without all the darkness, but it came with a price. He actually gets infected with this darkness. You don't really know what it is, but then the gate opens and something calls out to him and pulls Norrin into this gate, and we find out that it is Knull who brings him into this world. And again, Surfer, he was sent back through time to like the beginning. So I think this takes place, if I stand corrected, it takes place around when Knull was first, the universe is at its infancy when this takes place. So again, since Donny Cates, he created Knull, it would make sense for Knull to appear. And so that was the end of issue 1. So I thought that was a great cliffhanger. And then in issue 2 begins, and it actually goes into a flashback with, he's reflecting on his time with Galactus, and then he recounts the first time he stumbled across the symbiotes. So I'm not sure if he went to the planet of Clintar, and that's the home world of the symbiotes, but yeah, this is his first encounter with the symbiotes and his first encounter with Knull. So yeah, look at the artwork, just really, really beautiful. And I'm not sure if this is collected in an oversized hardcover, but if it is, I would consider getting it. And just look at this beautiful spread page again. His first encounter with Knull, the King in Black. And so yeah, he's fighting Knull, and then Knull, he essentially tries to control Norrin, and he sends out a symbiote to engulf him. So you see there, he got the symbiote to try to take over Norrin, and so Norrin, he briefly gets taken over by the symbiote, and this is the design. So I thought that was really cool, and I just thought it was a beautiful yet haunting visual. The Dave Stewart's colors just really make the artwork pop, and I just thought it was really cool. And I feel like Donny Cates, the way he writes Surfer and the way he uses the Surfer's voice, I thought it was very faithful to the Silver Surfer's characteristics, like the way that Stan Lee had wrote him back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. So I felt Donny Cates did a great job with the dialogue, and the letters by Clayton Cowles were also really innovative. So especially when Knull is speaking, and then all of a sudden, as Knull is fighting and trying to control Silver Surfer, something calls out to Norrin, and Norrin, he's able to get rid of the symbiote, and then essentially he runs away and starts to flee from Knull. And then Knull, look at this, that's Silver Surfer escaping this symbiote planet. Essentially, the whole planet's alive. And I just, again, really cool. And Knull, he is with those three beings that fought Norn earlier, and those beings, they turned out to be alien goddesses who also somehow ended up on that planet, and they were taken over by Knull. But Knull, he's pissed and he wants to kill Silver Surfer, so he gets on this dragon and what does he say? He's like, I'm in the mood for a chase. So I thought that was cool. And then again, Norn, he's on the run from Knull. He's trying to get away from him, and then something or someone is speaking to him. And again, I like the lettering, and it's revealed. But yeah, really cool imagery. Again, the colors. Knull is, chasing him down, and meanwhile, again, since the darkness did affect Norn, it's slowly taking over him, and he's slowly dying because of it. But I thought this was cool. Look at this. He zips through and destroys this symbiote dragon that Knull was riding, and it slows him down a little bit. But Knull is still on the attack. He'll come back, but it's revealed at the end of issue 2 that the being, or who was reaching out and speaking to Norn, is Ego, the Living Planets, and this is a younger Ego, because again, Silver Surfer was sent back in time. So that was the end of issue 2. So I thought the ending, again, another great cliffhanger. And then issue 3 starts with Norn. He's thinking back with his time on Zen-La with his love, Shalabal. And that part just reminded me of Stan Lee's run on Silver Surfer with John Buscema. Really great series. So if you guys are Silver Surfer fans and you haven't read his original series, definitely recommends that. I got the omnibus. But yeah, it just goes over his time with Shalabal while he's on Zen-La, and then it cuts to, the story. Something bad happens to Zen-La, and just look at the artwork. But instead of Galactus showing up, it's just he's seeing a vision of himself, because since he was the Herald and he assisted Galactus in, devouring these worlds, he's full of guilt and regret, and he feels that he was death, that he brought death to these worlds. So I just thought it was really cool, and it just a reimagining of the origin of how Norrin Radd became the Silver Surfer and how he became the Herald of Galactus. So I thought it was pretty cool. And then again, he's just been communicating with Ego and telling him how, he's running away from Knull, and he's looking for Ego's assistance. But something's happening to Ego. Something's going on within Ego, because again, he is a living planet, and he says that Ego tells Norrin that a meteorite crashed into him, and it seeped into his core, and it's hurting him and killing him. So Norrin, he offers to help Ego, and he's like, well, I'll help you get rid of this pain within your core, and if I do so, I need your assistance in my fight against Knull. And Ego, he warns Norrin, hey, you've never came across any being like me. If you go deep inside my core, you will face things that you've never faced before. And Norrin's like, okay, well, I faced a lot of worse things, and I can do this. So he burrows deep into the planet, and I like how he uses his board to transform into different objects. I never knew he could do that. So it was pretty cool. He uses some kind of he turns it into a drill so he can go deep into the planet of Ego. And yeah, I just thought this was really cool. This is him going inside the planet again. I love the panel layouts and just the composition. Again, look at just the artwork and just marvel at the just marvel at the colors and the art by Trav Moore. Really great, really innovative. And then he, again, using his board as a weapon, and he's finding these antibodies within Ego, and he realizes like, hey, like if I kill all these antibodies, I'll kill Ego. So he has to be careful, but he sees what's causing the issue. It's some type of tumor, but it's revealed, like he gets close and closer, and then it's revealed that he comes across an incubator that houses Galactus. And again, since this takes place in the past, Galactus hasn't been brought to life yet, but he's forming with this cosmic incubator. So that's the end of issue 3. So in issue 4, he takes the Galactus whole incubator, he pulls it out of Ego, and yeah, so it's Norrin. He's planning on destroying and killing Galactus before he's able to, you know, devour all this world. So that's his plan. And then initially, my one critique about this is he's the one that asked for Ego's help in his fight with Knull, but as soon as he retrieves the incubator housing Galactus and takes it out of Ego, he says like, oh, well, you don't have to be a part of my fight. Like, you don't, it's too much. And so I thought that was a little confusing, because one second he was asking for help, and then the next he's like, never mind. But anyway, so he takes the incubator housing Galactus, and he's going to throw it into this white dwarf to destroy Galactus. But at the last second, somebody stops him, and if you can see this panel, you can have a hint on who stops him. And it's Uatu, the Watcher. So if you guys have watched the What If series, Uatu is a Watcher. They observe everything in the universe. Normally they don't interfere, but he interfered this time because he essentially says that destroying Galactus will disrupt the balance of things in the universe, and there must be balance. Where there's light, there must be darkness. And so he tells Norrin, I mean, I get it, but you can't kill Galactus. So Norrin eventually, he tries to reach out because he doesn't know what to do. It's like, okay, I have Knull chasing me, trying to kill me. What do I do? And he goes deep into the mind of Galactus. Okay, look at this. Oh, look at this. A lot of just beautiful double page spreads in this series that I really appreciated. So he wants to talk to Gallon, he's not human, but the person who eventually turns into Galactus. His name is Gallon. So again, he's just in a psychic battle with Galactus, but it's revealed that, again, he wants to talk to Gallon, and this is again before he transforms into Galactus, and Norrin tells him like, hey, like, I know what you've become, you become a devourer of worlds, you kill so many beings. And then they have this philosophical discussion about balance and just light versus dark, and I just thought it was their conversation was really compelling. And Gallon, he asked him like, will you kill light with dark? Will you try to defeat darkness with dark? So that really hits Norrin like deep, and he just thinks about what Gallon's told him, and then he decides not to kill Galactus, and he says, I'm not my maker, I am not death, and I'm gonna spare your life, essentially. So he uses his power to shoot the incubator into the orbit of one of the worlds that Galactus devours, you know, setting off that chain of events. And then he tells Ego, like, hey, use your psychic abilities to reach out to all beings in the universe that are, you know, fearful of the incoming darkness that Knull is bringing. Help me connect to them, and I'm going to use their power to, you know, create this energy force that could, you know, combat Knull. And essentially he's, you know, creating his version of a spirit bomb. Shout out to fans of Dragon Ball Z. You will get that reference. So he uses that energy to create this being, and he's going to burn the darkness away. So again, really just the artwork, man. Look at this beautiful artwork by Tradd Moore. And again, shout out to Dave Stewart for the colors. Just everything just perfect. And then again, Donny Cates' script is just on point. And again, it just Silver Surfer just realizing again what he needs to do in the upcoming fight against Knull. And just this final battle with Knull is just really epic. And then again, and meanwhile, the darkness, again, Norrin, he's still, the darkness that's been infecting him is still affecting him. So eventually it spreads all over his body. But again, just like this. He calls his board to him, and it turns into a sword, and it's just really badass. Again, just the colors are so captivating. Shout out once again to Dave Stewart. So they're fighting, they have an epic battle, and Knull, he's fighting with the all black sword, and Silver Surfer, again, he used his board to create a sword and part of himself to create the sword. So eventually he uses all that power he absorbed from all the energy from all the beings across the universe. He uses that to dispel this light, and essentially it burns Knull away. He can't completely defeat Knull, but he stops him, and then he uses that energy because again, the darkness has taken over his body, but he essentially creates life using himself. And my whole takeaway from this issue in particular is that, and I think what Donny Cates is trying to say is that even though that there's a lot of darkness and a lot of evil things that surround us, and especially it's quite topical considering what's going on in the United States right now. It's just, even though there's a lot of evil and darkness that's surrounding us, we can't let the darkness consume us and destroy our light, because even if we have a little hope or a little light inside of us, it can always grow and spread onto others and create positive changes in the world. So you can't lose hope, and that's what I got from these last couple pages. And so he uses the power to create life, and he's essentially recreating his homeworld Zenn-La, and spreading, like, his atoms are spreading throughout the galaxy and recreating all the worlds that were devoured by Galactus. So eventually they'll probably get destroyed again, but I just thought that was a cool callback. It's just bringing the story a full 360 back, and I just thought that was cool. So now with, you know, him helping create new life, Silver Surfer, he doesn't feel regrets. He doesn't feel that he's death, essentially. So this is what he says. He says, I am Norrin Radd, creator and orphan son of Zenn-La. I am a noble light in great unending darkness. I am a friend, an ally, a lover, to most a savior. I am known many by universe-wide as the Silver Surfer, the Sentinel of the Spaceways, the Herald Unchained, but not death, no longer that. The darkness I have given now balanced with the light that I've shared, and so now my hands no longer drenched in red, I return in the black. And that's how it ends, and a nice tribute to Stan Lee and Mobius. So that was it. That was Silver Surfer Black. A really phenomenal series, just great artwork by Tradd Moore, colors by Dave Stewart, really elevated the artwork, and I love this. I highly recommend, if you're a Silver Surfer fan, if you're a Marvel Cosmic fan, definitely read Silver Surfer Black. Highly recommend. And yeah, that was it. Thanks again for those who are watching. That was another episode of Trade Talk Tuesdays, and I'm not going to reveal the book I'm going to read next week or go over next week until tomorrow on the new episode of New Comic Wednesdays, so be on the lookout for that. I will reveal which trade I'm going to be going over next Tuesday. So, but yeah, thanks again for watching. This is Chris Chats Comics. My name is Chris Gonzalez. Leave a like on the video, share it if you can, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back tomorrow and next week. Peace out.